Hey, what's up, YouTube? Boswell back with another video for the Husband Code. Tonight, I found an article just talking about the 15 myths about marriage. And this particular article I found online, and basically had 15 different things we're going to go through. And I'm going to give my feedback on it. And I want you guys later to drop your comments and tell me what you think about it. And, maybe something you can add, maybe something you can agree with. But let's get right into it. And like I said, let's go through it. So really quick. All right. So the first one up is all right. So the first one up is just definitely talking about how it's very difficult to have a healthy marriage if you've never experienced conflict. Now, for me, I agree with this because I think that when you're dating earlier before marriage, this is your time to kind of learn conflict resolution. A lot of us have a lot of ego, right, when we're dating on both sides, men and women. And so I think as you go through more and more relationships, you learn to have conflict resolution. That way, when you actually take the next journey and the lifelong journey of marriage, you at least learn the different skills on the give and take balance of it. Right now, that don't mean all conflicts are gonna be resolved every time right then and there, but it does mean your approach should be there where you're you have the ability to at least attempt to come to a conflict resolution. And I think that's one thing that this is saying here for the first bullet point on it is that if you want a healthy marriage, you definitely have to have conflict resolution skills. All right, moving to the second one. Good, healthy marriages come naturally when you marry the right person. Now, I know they're being contradictory. They're not being serious. No, uh, you'll never always find the exact right person, right? I think that you guys both come with different backgrounds. You bring different values and different perspectives in marriage. And if you can learn to work together, then you guys build up to becoming the right people for each other. Hopefully, you come from a background. Like I said, if it's 10 things you want on your list to say, you know what, this is the best husband or this is the best wife, if they come with 8, that's great, right? That's a great start. I don't believe nobody comes in 10 out of 10. That's just not what it is. Everybody has something where they have to work on, they have to, personal develop. And so, again, if somebody come in at 5, you willing to accept that. If you can get them to 8 and you had 10 on the list, that's awesome. That's 80% when somebody else could have been only giving you 20%. So, again, no one comes in with a perfect marriage. It's definitely a lot of work. Marriage is always fluid. It's constantly changing and moving, and you have to grow with it. So, that's one thing I want to say about that. The next one, marriage is 50-50. So, and again, really quick on this article, you guys can see they have their own comments on it, but I'm just reacting to what I want to say about it as well. But I see what they're saying. They're saying no, marriage is 100, 100, 100. Meaning, if you only come in 50% on both sides, you're only giving half what you can offer. They're saying come in 100% on both ends, which I agree with. Now, the only caveat that I would say to that is sometimes you can't come in with 100% right away. And what I mean by that is you don't know yourself 100%. Especially, really, I can't even say even when you're older, but especially when you're young, you're still learning yourself. You're still learning what you like and what you don't like. Now, I can say you can come in with 100% effort, but to bring yourself fully, you don't even know yourself. But I see what they're saying, right? I would say more 100% effort. And I think as you grow and develop, you'll start to be able to pour more into yourself into the marriage if it's going that right way where it's necessary. So that's my kind of take on that. The next one, your spouse, number 4, your spouse completes you. They should fulfill your every need. And again, the things I'm saying right here are the myths, right? And then below they have their different take on it. Now, I say that you should complete you, right? And that's the whole point of knowing yourself. And then the other partner brings and adds value upon that. So it's like, okay, I've completed myself. I'm at 100%. Then they're just adding to that. Now that we're at one, I'm at 110. You know what I mean? I don't think you should be looking for anybody's validation in a marriage. I think that you have to know yourself, and that's just what it is. And it takes time to get to that point. But I don't think you should rely on anybody to validate you. Now, you can rely on, getting love from someone. Even again, you're gonna love yourself, but you can rely on them giving you love as well, because it's in a marriage. Obviously you love yourself, but for somebody to complete you, I don't know about that, right? That's a little gray area, and maybe I'm misinterpreting it, but that's how I'm kind of seeing it. So I wouldn't say that. I would say somebody just bringing value to your life, maybe things that you need, but that still doesn't mean that they complete you 100%. It just means they're bringing extra value for something that you need to be having yourself. So we're gonna keep it moving. All right. So number 5. Did I go too far? Hold on. Let me see. Give me a second. All right, we're gonna jump down. So if you marry the right person, you'll always feel in love. Listen, marriage is a journey. There's always gonna be ups and downs, just like a roller coaster life. Even in your personal life, you don't always feel high, meaning like you don't always feel like you're on top of the world. There are low points, right, in your personal self. So you can't always expect that your spouse, whoever you're married to, is always gonna keep you on a high note. There's gonna be lows in marriage. So you're not always gonna feel in love. Sometimes you're gonna be annoyed. Sometimes you're gonna be angry with this person. Sometimes, some days you might be like, "Y'all don't really love this person anymore," just because whatever situation may be, and that happens. That's just the ins and outs of life, right? The highs and the lows of life. That's gonna happen. That's normal. Even when you're in basic relationships before marriage, you're gonna feel that. No relationship is always on a high. They're just not the balance of life. And so, don't expect that that's something that when you get married, that's always going to be like that. So anyway, we're gonna keep it going. All right. So, marriage sex is boring. Let's see. Marriage sex is boring. Um, I think as time go on, if you both are grinding, then it's a situation where you just have to find new ways to keep it spicy, right? Because when you're dating, you can meet all these different people, have all these different interactions when it comes to sex, and so you always feel like it's new. But once you get one person, you're like, all right, well, how do we keep it fresh and new? I think that's the only thing. It's the intentionality behind it, that can make it mundane, that can make it boring. But it's some ways you can keep it spicy, and that way you don't feel that way. But no, I don't think it's ever boring unless you just not willing to put forth effort. So that's what I want to say on that. Next one, having children helps couples in struggling marriages. Heck no, it can actually make it worse. I've seen, make sure I watch my words. Let me just say, I've seen people who had kids, and it definitely made it more stressful. It made things more strenuous. It's always, but the rebuttal was always, yeah, they're a blessing. Yes, but for us, like even in my marriage, we have a lot of different life goals we want to hit, and we want to be at the best place we can be at to be able to bring um, our kids the best start they can in life. Right? I know we've been asked about kids a lot, and we've said what we said about it, and we definitely will have kids. We want kids. However, we still want to get a few more steps ahead to be able to put them in the best position. We don't just want to have kids and then they behind the race. We want to make sure that they can start a little further up on the race, to make sure they have the best life that we can provide for them. So, but no, it definitely, if you ain't in the right situation, it definitely can put some setbacks on you. All right, next one. Every disagreement must have a resolution. No, I just alluded to that in the beginning. You want to come in with skills for conflict resolution, but it doesn't always mean that they're going to be resolved right then and there. I think you guys can say, hey, I agree to disagree and circle back later down the road. And not that it's like a mentality of, oh, you bringing up old stuff. It's like, hey, let's be intentional just to set this down right here, and we pick it up later. Because sometimes it can get that heated. But the best thing is to understand that, hey, we still need to address this, but let's reconvene. Let's think about it more. That way we can come back and figure out the best way to approach it. So not every situation disagreement gonna have resolution though. Definitely not. All right. Your children needs to come first. This nah. Mm-mm. And I'll say this wholeheartedly. You married your spouse first. You didn't marry the kids. So if y'all not good, the house not gonna be good, right? So you got to make sure that you guys are A1, because if y'all straight, the house is straight, the kids are straight, the relationship good. But if y'all not straight, nah. But and also, again, y'all have to continue to date. Y'all have to continue to build, because it only strengthens the house. It only strengthens the kids' future if y'all are good. But if y'all are putting them first, guess what? It's gonna take away from y'all starting y'all bonding time, you guys' dating time, your health, right? And that doesn't mean by putting yourselves first that they are lacking or they're not getting things they need as kids. No, it just means that we're continuing to keep the house strong because we're on lock instead. And then the kids come. That's how I look at that. All right, next up. Um, there's a universal path in marriage, like having children. Nah, just like having kids. There's no book. I mean, listen, people write books on like how to raise kids and stuff like that, but every kid is different, just like every marriage is different. Everybody thinks differently. Everybody comes from different backgrounds. Expectations are different. Um, people are growing and they change. So there's no linear line when it comes to marriage. There's no straight shot. Or there's traditional values and things that can help kind of pillar the marriage as y'all go ahead, and hopefully things y'all can lean into for sure. But there's no straight shot. And just like life, right? There's no straight shot on how you live your life day to day. Now I know society attempted to do this when they said, hey, you go to elementary, middle, high school, then you go off to college, then you get a good job, then you retire, and then right. I get the framework they attempted to put in place, but it's fell apart. And that's the same thing when it comes to marriage. There used to be a framework where, hey, you get a good job, you work there for 4 years, the wife stay at home, um, raise the kids, and y'all on the weekends, y'all do your thing with family and friends, and you retire, and y'all can have a great life after that, right? That framework is totally dead as well. So you have to, it's just different. I think we're trying to figure it out now, but there's definitely not a straight path to marriage and how things supposed to be now. The next one, differences will ruin your marriage. It can, right? But I think if you guys only if the intention is not to work through things. Now there are cases where you guys are so different based on your background, your culture, that it could be a tall task, a big hurdle to jump over, especially like there's like a language barrier thing. I've seen that uh, be a big thing to get over, because with language comes culture, right? So if you're dating somebody in Japan and you're from America, and the language barrier is tough to understand what they're trying to articulate when they're emotional, and things are in some big disagreement, that could be a tall task. So again, I'm not saying it won't work, but those type of differences like that can make things very, very challenging to be able to overcome. So next one, never go to bed angry. Man, listen. Again, we just said that if sometimes we got to put those disagreements off to the side and we're gonna reconvene. That's the same thing as we put them to the side, we're going to bed angry, right? Sometimes it's like that. Now, thank goodness for my marriage, it's not always like that. Again, we human, right? We just, things gonna happen. But I don't want to wake up angry. That's my thing. I can go to bed angry, but I don't want to wake up angry. Like, dang, I'm still. Most of the time, I don't. Right? Yeah, I can go to bed angry, but I don't want to wake up angry. That's like, man, I don't want to bring that, keep that going. But no, that's gonna happen. You're gonna go to bed angry. Just again, we human. It's late. You guys are talking about something. You got to get up early for work. we got to pause this and reconvene the next day. So, and nothing got resolved, right? So that's gonna happen from time to time. All right, seek out marriage counseling at last resort. Um, you can go before, you can go last, you can go in the middle. Doesn't really matter. It just depends on what y'all situation is. If you feel like, hey, let's try to work through the problems first, cool. Or hey, some people go to marriage counseling first. It just all depends on your situation. I don't want to say there's no right or wrong, right? But if you feel like what y'all doing not working, and y'all X amount of time in your marriage, why not? There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I just don't think there's a optimum time. But hey, if you feel like this is the last resort, hey, go ahead and try it out. And last one, if your spouse really loves you, they would know what you need. Depends on how long y'all been together. My wife says she know me in and out, and I actually believe her. Now, for me, I wish that was true on my end. I don't know why I'm just bad at stuff like that. I feel like I really know my wife, but not as much. She just got a more heightened intelligence on that particular avenue, um, and I just feel like I'm learning her more and more every day, even this far into the marriage. Now, again, I know a lot. Don't get it twisted, but she just read me like a book, and I think that just this is how women are. They just smarter in that area, and way smarter than us as men. Hey, I don't knock it, but I say all that to say, yeah, as I'm growing to learn her more, I'm learning more what she needs. And as I change and develop even more on my journey, she's learning new things that I need, right? And that's just part of it. Again, we're gonna hopefully some of us don't stay stuck where we are because then we just create those habits and then yeah, it's gonna be easy to read you like a book. But I think if you're growing and you're changing and developing to your best version of yourself, then yeah, it's gonna take time for people to learn you and learn new ways to show up for you and new ways to love you because you're becoming a different person. And so anyway, that was like the 15 myths. That was my good take on this video. Been long enough, but great article from this particular location. Who was this? Yeah, Windshape. And so yeah, what y'all think about that? Drop a comment below. How y'all feel about my comments? What do if you want to add something yourself, maybe something they didn't add on this article. And if it's your first time seeing the Husband Code, welcome. Go ahead and subscribe. If you've been watching for a while, go ahead and subscribe. And hit that like button on the video. We shoot this out to the internet. And lastly, hit that notification bell because again, we're dropping videos like this every day. And until next time, I appreciate y'all. Much love. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.